This is video number 4 in the Winter Scene series. In this video, I'll show you how to use Illustrator to create a snow person. First, we need a new document to create our snow person. Go to File, New, choose Web Common, title it Snow Person with your name, and then click Create. First, we'll draw the snow person. Choose the ellipse tool, go down to the color area, leave the fill set to white, click to bring the black stroke forward and set it to none. Then click to bring the white fill forward again. Hold down Shift on the keyboard and draw a circle for the bottom part of the snow person. Next, we need our colors. Go to Window, Swatches, and on Swatches menu, click to open the side menu, go to Open Swatch Library, Gradients, and choose Neutrals. I'm going to put my neutrals colors into the same panel as the swatches. I'm going to tear off symbols and close it. The gradient that I chose is this one right here, Neutral 19. Let's go ahead and modify that a little bit. Go to Window and open the Gradient panel. First of all, change the type of gradient to radial, and we want to switch the color so that the gray is on the outside. So I will reverse the gradient by clicking on this button, and I want much more of the white showing and much less gray. So I'm going to click on this diamond and scoot the slider over as far as it will go so it pushes the gray to the edges. Next thing that I'm going to do is apply a Ruffin filter to this. So under Effect, go to Distort and Transform, Ruffin. And in the Ruffin dialog box, click Preview. Set the size to something like 2. And if you want to see what changes that makes, you just have to click the preview on and off. Then I'm going to make the detail something really small, like 1. And the points I'm going to change to smooth. So you can see that now this has kind of that handmade snowball look. So I'll click OK. Click V on the keyboard to get the selection tool. Hold down Alt, then click and drag a copy. Hold down Shift and Alt, grab the corner and shrink that down to a nice size for the head. Something kind of like that. The next thing that I'm going to do is make the eyes. So with the ellipse tool, I will hold down Shift on the keyboard and click and drag an eye. And I will change the color to black by going to the Swatches panel and choosing black from the list. I would also like to roughen the eyes, so I'm going to use the Zoom tool and magnify that so I can see the effect. So Effect, Distort and Transform, Roughen, and let's put on Preview. I'm going to put the corners on Smooth and adjust the size until I think that it looks like a lump of coal for the eyes, something maybe like that, and then click OK. Control 0 on the keyboard to get that to fit. V to get the selection tool, hold down Alt and drag off a copy. Now the snow person's head is going to be tilted a little bit to the side, a little bit in profile, so one eye is going to be slightly higher than the other eye. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw the carrot for the nose. So I will select the brush tool, and I right now I have the head selected, so I need to deselect that. So Control Shift A is a keyboard shortcut. Now I will choose a orange color from my swatches, And I want it to be, for now, the stroke. So I'm going to use the swap arrow to make the color go to the stroke. Now I'm going to start drawing the nose. So I'll draw the back part of the carrot and then have it extend off. Draw the bottom part, and it's okay if it's wiggly. And then when I get towards the end, slow down and hold down Alt on the keyboard, and that will automatically close the selection at the end. Now what I'm going to do is push V on the keyboard to select the nose, and then simply swap the fill and the stroke, and my carrot is finished. You know, I actually think I'm going to modify my nose just a little bit with the direct selection tool to make it look a little bit pointier. There we go, and make this one a little bit wider down at this end. There you go. I think that looks a little more carroty. And Control 0 on the keyboard, and I like the way that looks. Next, I'm going to add a smile. So with the paintbrush tool, I will choose black as my color and use the swapper arrow to make that the stroke, and then just draw a nice little smile down there underneath the nose. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw the scarf. So I will choose a nice color. You can choose whatever color you want, and I do want this to be the stroke, and set the fill to none for now. And I'm going to magnify this a little so that I can see what I'm doing a little better. So with the paintbrush tool, I'm going to draw the side of the scarf, make it a little indent under the chin, make it a little poofy on this side, draw the bottom part, and when I get down to the end, I'm going to hold down Alt, and Alt will automatically close the gap and make that a complete shape. Now I'm going to draw the bottom part of the scarf, so I will simply click and drag and kind of make this part, and then hold down Alt when I get close to the beginning point, and that will automatically close that shape. Now V on the keyboard to switch to the selection tool. Get both pieces of the scarf by holding down Shift and clicking on them, and then use the swapper arrow to change that to the fill. Next, I'm going to put some fringe on the bottom of the scarf, so I will go back to the paintbrush tool. I need to deselect this, so Control Shift A. Swap this to the stroke, and with the paintbrush tool, I am simply going to drag some nice little fringed bottom to the scarf, and the fringe can be going all different directions because it's kind of swooshing around in the wind. There we go, and Control 0 to fit that on the screen. So far so good. Next, let's draw the hat. So the hat, I am going to, in my swatches over here, I'm going to choose a light gray color like this one. And I want it to be the stroke for now, so I will swap that and turn the fill to none. Then I will start drawing and make it kind of curved around the top and around the forehead. Hold down Alt when you get close to the end so that those touch and make a complete shape. Now V on the keyboard, and I will use the swapper arrow to swap that. I think I'm going to make it a little wider and rotate it a little bit. Now I want to make it look like it's fuzzy, like fur, so let me magnify that a little so I can see what I'm doing. And Effect, Distort and Transform, Ruffin. And with our Ruffin options selected here, let's put that on preview. And let's see here. I'm going to go with smooth, and try out a few different things. So everybody can make theirs as fluffy as they would like. I'm going to go with those selections for mine and click OK. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw the hat part. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more room there and get the paintbrush tool. Deselect this, so Control-Shift-A, and I'm going to get the same color that I used for the scarf. There we go. And for now, I want that to be the stroke, so I'll use the swapper arrow to fix that. And I'll just start here, draw kind of a triangle shape, and then over here it's going to get kind of bumpy and more narrow. And I will complete it like this. Hold down Alt on the keyboard when I get to the end. And you'll see that it took on the attributes that I just added to the fur part of the hat. So let me show you how to fix that. I'm going to go to Window, Appearance. So the first thing that I need to do is get the selection tool and select it. Now I can see here is the Ruffin effect that was added to that. So I will click it and simply click on the trash can, and it goes back to normal, which is what I wanted. Now I will swap the fill and the stroke. I'm going to right click over this object, go to Arrange and Send to Back. Next, I am going to create a little pom-pom to go on the end of the hat. So I will click the ellipse tool, hold down Shift, click and drag out a circle. Add that there. I'm also going to make that a very light gray color and add a Ruffin effect on it with Distort and Transform. And let's see here. Let's make that nice and fluffy and click OK when you are ready. And I will deselect that, Control-Shift-A. Now it looks okay, but the fur blends into the because they're similar colors, it blends into the Snowperson. So what I'm going to do is add a drop shadow to that. So V on the keyboard to get the selection tool and get the fur, go to Effect and choose Stylize. Notice that there are Illustrator effects, Stylize, and there's Photoshop effects, Stylize. So make sure that you choose the Illustrator effects, Stylize, and Drop Shadow. So with my drop shadow options here, I'm going to click Preview, and the default opacity is 75. I changed mine to 40% to make it a little lighter. The offset, X offset, moves it right and left, moves the shadow right and left. So you can see if I put in something like 15, it moves it to the right. But I want it to be the other direction, so I'm going to use -7. And then the Y offset moves it up and down. So I am going to choose, I'm actually going to leave it on 10 and click OK. Now I'm going to select the Pom Pom at the end of the hat, go to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow, and for the Pom Pom, I'm going to leave it at 40%. I'm going to make the offset something like, let's try 4. And I'm going to make this one 5 and click OK. All right, that looks pretty good. So go ahead and save your changes.